So we are recording. So we're going to start sitting today. So make your way, if you're not on your mat, make your way over to your mat. And you could sit on your bed, you could sit on a chair, you could sit on a blanket. You could also lie down if you would prefer. So either way is fine. So sitting or lying, go ahead if you're sitting and just kind of rock a little bit back and forth till you can consciously feel the feeling of your sitting bones beneath you. And your legs can be anywhere that's comfortable. So you're sitting in a way that's comfortable for you. So root your sitting bones down. Imagine roots going down from your sitting bones, down into whatever you're sitting on, down into the ground beneath you. And allow that downward rooting to help you to just feel grounded enough to sit up nice and tall. And when we sit up nice and tall, often we lift the chin. Go ahead and let your chin lightly lower and perhaps think about rather lifting from the back of the head so that you kind of lengthen the back of the neck. And that can sometimes pull the chin back if you tend to have chin forward. So let your hands be comfortable wherever they land. And from this nice upright posture, if it's comfortable to close your eyes, go ahead and close your eyes. And as you're sitting, just begin to notice how you're feeling. How does it feel to be on your mat in the present moment? Maybe it's nice and quiet and peaceful where you are. Maybe you're hearing the birds outside of your window. Maybe you're struggling right now and having a hard time with all that's going on in your life. But just really acknowledge, recognize how you're doing. And with that awareness of how you're feeling, offer yourself understanding and compassion, acceptance for whatever it is and however you're feeling in the present moment. So now let's begin to focus on our breathing. When we're sitting up, it allows the breath to move into the body and really expand in all directions. So take a nice deep breath in and feel it filling up your lungs. And then let's allow each exhale time and space to fully empty out. We're going to let the breath expand, front, sides, back of the body. And then let the breath fully release and empty. You can blow it out. You can let it go out through your nose, whatever feels most comfortable. But immerse yourself in this act of deep breathing, really feeling the expansiveness of your inhale. It moves out and around. It can move up. It can move down into the belly. Notice where the breath is moving, and then notice how it feels as your breath fully empties and releases. This act of focusing on our breathing is a practice of bringing our awareness to our present moment experience. Just fully embracing what it feels like to breathe. So maybe your mind hasn't wandered and you've done a really good job of just focusing on what it feels like to breathe. So you can allow your breath to transition to just a more natural rhythm. And see if you can maintain that same level of focused awareness on your present moment experience, even as you're breathing more naturally. And see if you can keep that same level of focused awareness as we begin to move, noticing how each movement feels and noticing how you're feeling within each movement. So grab onto your knees, and as you hold your knees, we're going to arch the back a little bit. So you're going to kind of lift your heart up and create a little arch or extension in your spine as you breathe in. And then as we exhale, we're going to round the back. So grabbing the knees, just let your back round. Drop your chin to chest. And then root your sitting bones down. Inhale and sit up nice and tall. Lift your heart, a little bit of extension in your spine. And then with your exhale, round back. Do that a few more times. So it's kind of like cat-cow, just loosening up the spine with our breath and our movement. Couple more. Inhale to arch and extend. And exhale to round back. One more time like that. Stretching up, lengthening up, lifting the heart, and then letting the back round. This time as you sit up straight, keep the spine long and see if you can hinge forward. You might be able to move a little bit, maybe not as much, some can go far. You might reach your fingertips toward the floor and maybe even walk the fingertips forward. We're trying not to bend yet. We're trying to just keep the spine long and hinge from the crease of the hip. So take a breath here and then let your back round. So let your low back, your mid back, your upper back round, your head lower down. Take a big breath into your upper back. And then as you exhale, draw your belly in and just roll yourself up until you're sitting up nice and tall. Great. Let's twist to one side. Doesn't matter which side. Take one hand behind, take the other arm across, and just do a gentle twist in that direction and take a deep breath in and out. And release back to center and go ahead and twist around the other direction. Just turning to that side, nice gentle twist, breathing in and out. And releasing back around. Place one hand on the floor, take your other arm up in the air. Breathe in and stretch that arm up. As you exhale, step the hand on the floor over to the side, bend the elbow and just stretch over. So as we're here stretched over, you're looking forward towards your computer. I'd like you to see if you could just turn your gaze, keep your head where it is, turn your gaze up toward the ceiling. And then, or where your arm is, and then can you turn your head up toward your arm or toward the ceiling? So following your gaze. Great. And then with your next inhale, press up, rise up, and bring that hand down. Let's do the other side. So the other arm stretches up toward the ceiling. Breathe in. Step your hand on the floor a little bit away and stretch over, bending the elbow with the hand that's on the floor. So you're kind of stretching and breathing into that overhead arm side. Yeah. So now you're facing your computer. Just turn your eyes up toward the ceiling. Your eyes go sideways, but your head is forward initially. And then can you turn your head to look up toward the ceiling, following your gaze? Yeah. Great. Take a breath. And then let that arm come up and down. So we're just kind of trying to activate these cranial nerves. It's an interesting thing. I'm reading a book about it. All right, let's make our way down onto our backs. So if you're sitting on something, come on and make your way onto your mat, lying on your back. And if your mat is sideways to the camera, it might be easiest. So as you come down on the floor, you can clasp your hands under your head, but let your head rest on the floor, on your hands. Let's take the feet off the floor. And you could bring your knees in kind of close, kind of lift your hips up a little bit, and then roll out. And do that again. Bring your knees in, lift your hips a little bit, and then roll out. And just do that one more time. Bring your knees in, lift your hips, and then roll out. So now we're just going to tap a toe to the floor, and then bring the knee back up. Tap the other toe to the floor, and bring the knee back up. So we're just alternating, one toe tapping down, knee coming up. We're going to wake up the core muscles here. So how does this feel? As you're tapping a toe, you can, we'll inhale here, we'll exhale as the toe taps, inhale as the knee comes up. Exhale as the toe taps, inhale up. All right, so now lift your head up off the floor. Weight of the head in your hands. We're gonna tap a toe, and then as the knee comes up, we're gonna curl up. And then tap a toe, inhale back, and then exhale and curl up. So tap a toe, inhale back, exhale and curl up. Tap a toe, inhale back, exhale and curl up. Now extend one leg out. You're still curled up here, and then twist across towards the opposite knee. Bring that leg back, inhale, release your head back. We'll curl up again, extend the other leg and twist across. And then bring the knee in, release the head back. So exhale and curl up, extend a leg and twist across. Bring the knee back as you inhale back. A few more like that, curling up, extending the leg, twisting across, and then releasing back. Curl up, extend and twist, and inhale back. Curl up, extend and twist, and inhale back. One more time on each side. Come up and twist across, and release back, and come up and twist across, and release back. Release your head on your hands. You can bring your arms down at your side. Take your legs up in the air now. You can kind of wiggle your feet around if you like. Loosen up your ankles. And then can we just lift the hips, curl the hips up, and then roll back out. So the tendency here might be to push down with your arms. Try to have your arms light on the floor and just work from the strength of the deep low belly muscles to lift the hips up and roll back out. And just one more time like that. Nice job. Let's release the feet to the floor and roll to the side. Roll onto your side. Support your head with your arm or with a pillow so that it's comfortable. Stack your knees. Put your hand on your hip. So feet are together, knees are together. We're just going to wake up the muscles of the hip. So your feet stay together. We'll lift the knee up and let the knee come back down. Lift the knee up and bring it back down. So we're just working the external rotators of the hip here. Lifting up so your feet are together and just your knee is coming up. Kind of like they sometimes call this a clamshell movement. So now keep your knees together and lift your lower leg up and then bring the foot back down. So we're internally rotating the hip here. So the thighs, the knees stay together and the lower leg comes up and comes back down. We're lifting up. We'll do it like this one more time. And then again, feet stay together, lift the knee. Knees stay together, lift the foot. Feet stay together, lift the knee. And we're trying not to let the hips roll back as we do this. So keep alternating. Keep your hips stacked. So you're not letting that top hip lean back as you do this. We're just moving from the leg, not from the hips really, not rocking back and forth. Let's do that one more time. Knee lifts and then heel lifts. And then push yourself up, swing your legs around, come on to the other side. So you're just gonna lie down on the other side, stacking your knees, top hand on your hip, starting with your feet together, lift your knee up and then lower down. So notice if you're rocking back, try not to let that happen. Try to keep the hips stable and stacked and just lift the knee as high as you can without creating that movement in your pelvis. So go up and down like this one more time, externally rotating that hip, and then keep your knees together and internally rotate by lifting your lower leg. So from your knee to your heel lifts up. Thighs and knees stay together now. Lifting and lowering. How does this feel? This is something we don't do all the time. So how does our mind react when we try something new? What is our perspective on this? All right, and then let's just alternate a few times. So feet stay together and the knee lifts up, knee comes together and the heel lifts up. Feet stay together and the knee lifts up, Knees stay together. And maybe you're starting to feel some activation in the muscles of the hip, which is nice. You know, if we strengthen our hips, that helps give support to our knees. We strengthen our ankles, that gives support to the knees. So this is all good stuff. All right, let's come on to all fours. So of course, if kneeling doesn't work well for you, you're always welcome to do this with a chair, standing with your hands on the chair. We're going to be putting all the weight on one knee and one hand. So if you want to cushion your knees with a little blanket under your knees, or use a blanket to support your wrists, you're always welcome to do that as well. So we'll get either our feet or our knees beneath our hips and our wrists beneath our shoulders. Get the spine nice and long. And let's take one leg and press back through the heel. Noticing as you do that, if you let your belly drop, keep your belly engaged to support your low back so the back doesn't drop. Press out through your heel. Get nice and long from heel to crown. And then can you bend that knee? And so that sometimes when we bend the knee drops down. Keep the knee straight back from the hip. Have your foot pointed up toward the ceiling. And check if you arched your back. Support your low back by engaging your belly. Extend that heel back and then bend the knee. Do that a couple more times. Extend the heel back and then bend the knee. Extend the heel back. Keep that knee high and bend the knee. This time extend the heel back and then raise your opposite arm out in front of you. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Holding here requires core stability here. Focus. How does this feel? Feel the strength in your body, the stability. What is your perspective here? Tap into the feeling of your breathing. Let's release the hand and release the knee. Nice job. Let's do the other leg. So press the other heel straight back. Pressing out through the heel, pull your toes down. Feel the strength in that leg as you really strongly press out through your heel. See if you drop to the belly. Keep the belly strong and engaged. Now bend the knee. Can you have that knee at the same height? It hasn't lowered. You've just bent it so the heel points up. And then extend the leg long. Push out through the heel. Keep the knee where it is as you bend the heel toward the ceiling. And then extend the leg long. Belly is strong. Again, bend the knee, heel to the ceiling. Extend that leg out. One more time, bend the knee. So we're activating the muscles in the back of the leg here. And then extend the heel back. And then opposite arm, reach it forward. Can you feel arm and leg parallel to the ground? Can you find stability here? Can you connect with your breath? Smooth it out. Take one more breath here. Holding long and strong. And then that hand can come down, that knee can come down. We're going to sit back into child's pose. Take your hips back. You can have your arms way out in front, forehead to the floor, or you can rest your head on your bent arms. You can move your hips a little bit here, side to side, if that would feel good. Take a moment to connect with your breath here. Check in with how you're feeling. Maybe offer yourself some kindness, some love. Then on your next inhale, lift your head up and reach your arms way forward. Like walk your fingertips forward so they're way out in front of you. And as your arms reach forward, just take your hips a little bit to the one side and then take your hips a little bit to the other side. As your hips go to one side, take that arm and reach it further forward, up towards the front of your mat. Drop your head down so your neck is relaxed and maybe look under that arm. Then slide that hand back. Take your hips a little bit to the other side and take that arm and reach it way out towards the front of your mat. Drop your head, maybe look under that arm. Big breath into that side. And let the breath go. Great. Now reach your arms way long and take your hands about as wide as your shoulders or a bit wider. Come up onto your knees, curl your toes under, and make your way up to downward facing dog. So as we come to down dog, let's focus on the hands, pushing the fingers, the knuckles, the thumbs, all into the floor so the weight is not all on the heel of the hand. Bend your knees a bit and really pull your hips way up and back. Feel your arms lengthen, your spine lengthen. Breathe here. And then maybe pedal your heels down. As you exhale, drop one heel and then bend a knee and drop the other heel. So alternating bending a knee and pressing a heel down. Get a nice deep stretch into the calf, ankle, heel here. And then let's bend both our knees, either a little bit or quite a bit. Again, take your hips way up and back, deep breath in with a nice full emptying of breath. One more time, deep breath in and out. And then we're going to walk our hands back towards our feet. End up folded over, bent knees, ragdoll position here, just kind of loose and floppy. Feel your feet on the floor. You can even press down. Really feel your toes, the balls of your feet, your heels connected. And then draw your belly in and begin to roll yourself up. Take your time here to slowly, gradually stack your spine, stack your vertebrae. Eventually coming all the way up. Last thing coming up is the head. And then let's turn and face towards the camera or the computer. We'll just have our hands on our hips, feet right beneath us. Let's just lift the heels a little bit and then lift the heels quite a bit. Noticing how the calf muscles kick in. The whole leg turns on. And then lower yourself down slowly and then heels come down. Do that again. Lift your heels a little bit, lift up really high. See if you can kind of balance here. You can always have a chair nearby or hold the wall. And then lower slowly. 5, 4, 3, 2, down. Great. Let's step wider into our sumo stance. So heels wider than hips and toes turned out. We're going to take the hips back and the knees forward. Knees tracking in the direction of the toes and then letting the hips go way back behind us, but keeping the chest lifted. And then as we're here, we're going to lift the heels up nice and high and lower them slowly for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2. Let's touch the heels and lift them again. Lift the heels up really high and slowly lower. We're working the arches of the feet. We're working the legs. Yeah. Now drop your heels down and straighten your legs. Nice. We're going to come back into that squat, hips back, knees forward. And this time let's lift the heels just ever so slightly so they're close to the mat. And with the heels slightly lifted, we're going to straighten the legs. Can you keep your heels that slight amount of lifted and come back into the squat? So your heels are very close to the floor. Hips go back, knees go out. And with those heels really close to the floor, again, we'll straighten the legs, working into the pelvic floor here. Great. And then heels coming down. All right, let's come and stand at the front of the mat. And as we make our way here, remember when we pushed our hands down onto the top surface of the feet? That same feeling of groundedness. Feel the feet rooting down as we stand tall. Take a breath here. Just notice what it feels like to be here now. Standing tall. And then we'll do a little flowing. So we're going to sweep the arms out and up. Big breath in. As we exhale, let's swan dive forward. Knees can soften as we fold over. I want you here to take a big breath into your upper back. And then as we exhale, we're going to extend the spine. So we could have knees bent, fingertips on the floor or hands on the shin. And you extend through your upper back here. and then round over again and take another breath into your upper back. Let's extend again. So maybe fingertips are on the floor, maybe hands are on the shins. Can you extend through your back, not just take your chin forward? And then round again. Breathe into your upper back. Great. Let's bring our hands to the floor now and step back to downward facing dog. Pushing down into the hands to lift the hips up and back as we breathe in. Exhaling to straight arm plank. So as we come into this position, we want to feel the strength in the body. We could be knees off the floor or knees down, but either way, we're pushing the arms into, pushing the hands down, feeling the strength in the arms. Let's press back through the heels and lengthen from heels to ears or from knees to ears. Nice long body. If the hips drop down, engage through your midsection to support the hips. We're going to try a little bend in the elbows here. Elbows pointing back towards the heels. Try not to let the hips drop as we do that. We'll take another breath here. And then we're going to lower down. We could drop to knees first or just come straight down. We're going to bring our chest down, coming into prone mountain, sliding the heels of the hands a little bit back, reaching back through the toes, lengthening through the crown of the head. Let's inhale up to baby cobra. Heart pulls forward, heels of the hands press back a bit here. And then exhale and lower down. We're going to come up again into that baby cobra. So inhale to come up. And then let's lift our hands a little bit off the mat. Could you now lift your elbows toward the ceiling and slightly hug them in to kind of activate the muscles in the upper back between the shoulder blades. Then release the hands down, release the chest down. One more time, nice and long. Let's keep the hands down. Inhale up to baby cobra, trying not to jut the chin forward here. And then we could, if we like, push down and come up a bit higher into cobra. And then we'll lower back down. Let's push up to knees. Curl the toes under and lift the knees. And then use the belly, lift the hips up and back to downward facing dog. We'll breathe in and out here. And then looking a little forward, walk your feet up toward your hands and plant your feet beneath you. From here, let's bend the knees and lower the hips. Keeping the hips low, bring your hands to heart. Can you keep your hips low but lift your chest up? So you're sitting back in a chair. Reach your arms forward, maybe you can sit back a little further. Let's take the arms up alongside the ears now, and then push into the feet and legs to inhale and rise up, reach up. And then we'll exhale our arms down at our side. Great. Stepping to the front of the mat if you're not already there. Root down through your feet to stand tall. Inhale and reach your arms out and up. Exhale and swan dive forward. Let's bring our hands to the mat and step back to downward facing dog. Taking a breath here. We'll exhale to straight arm plank. Taking a breath here. You could drop to your knees if you like as you bend your elbows a little bit. We'll take another breath here. And we'll exhale all the way down. Finding prone mountain, chest close to the floor, nose close to the floor. Then we'll inhale up to baby cobra or cobra. And exhale back down. And make our way up and back to downward facing dog. Nice job. Breathe in and out here. Now from here, we are going to lift the right leg up in the air. Now, all these next movements could be done on one knee. If you'd rather be on a knee, you could be down on a knee, or we could have the leg up in the air. Now we're going to bend that knee of the leg that's lifted, and I want you to pull that knee up towards your chin, lifting the knee, lifting the heel. Engage through the belly to lift up. And then, can you step that foot out in front? You might drop to a knee and step it out. Make your way, however you get here, into a low lunge. And from this low lunge position, bring your forearms onto your front thigh. So externally supported lunge. We're supporting this lunge with our forearms on our legs. You could stay here or come to internally supported lunge, hands to heart. So now we have to work to support this through our core strength, our legs. Now take a breath, and can you twist to the right? So towards where the front leg is, twist to the side. Your hands could stay to heart, or elbows could go to the outside of the knee to deepen the twist. Take a breath in and out here. And then we'll unwind ourselves. We'll bring our hands to the floor and step back to downward facing dog. You might stay here or take a break on your knees, or you can flow straight arm plank, little bend in the elbows, lowering down, finding prone mountain, inhaling up to baby cobra or cobra, and exhaling back down and making our way up and back to downward facing dog. So again, we could be on the knees here or lifting the left leg up in the air with a breath, then bending that knee. We'll pull the knee up and in, lift the knee, lift the heel, lift through the belly, and then look forward and step that foot out in front, or drop to a knee and step the foot out in front. Just get into a low lunge, and then bring your forearms onto that front leg. Press back through the heel, lengthen through your crown. Your arms could stay here, or hands come to heart, internally supporting this lunge. Take a breath here. As you exhale, twist to the left now, in the direction of that front leg. Your hands could stay to heart, or elbow to the outside of the knee. Take a breath in your twist here, and then unwind yourself. Bring your hands to the floor, step back to downward facing dog. Again, you might just stay here or take a little break, or flowing one more time, straight arm plank, little bend in the elbows, lowering all the way to the floor. Nice and long as we inhale up to baby cobra or cobra, exhaling back down, making our way up and back to downward facing dog. We'll breathe in and out here. And looking forward, walk the feet up, plant the feet beneath us. This time we'll just reverse swan dive. Sweep your arms out, inhaling, rise up, reach up, and exhale, arms down at your side. Nice job. Let's turn this way. So we're going to come into a very wide stance now, wider than it was earlier for our sumo. Let's turn the left foot in, turn the right foot out, place our hands on our hips. So first we're going to make sure that our feet are pushing solidly into the floor. The inner and outer edges of the back foot are connected. And then with your hands on your hips, like this is the central area from which we're going to move. So from this central area, we'll bend the knee, and then we'll straighten the knee. So we're moving from here. Our shoulders are right over the pelvis. The knee is going to bend, and the knee is going to straighten. But we're going to feel the center of our movement coming right from the center of our body. So we're bending the knee and straightening the knee. But the weight stays pretty even on both feet because we're centering the weight right in the center of our body here. So the next time the knee is bent, pause there. So right from this central area, we're going to tip over. So let's tip over from the pelvis, from the hips, and then let the bottom arm come onto the bottom leg. So we still have this rooting in the back foot here. We have just a lightness in this arm. We haven't dropped the whole weight of the body. We're supporting the weight from our midsection. Take your other arm out in front. We're going to sweep that arm overhead, rolling the thumb up and the pinky down, so the arm rolls kind of down. And then we're going to roll the belly and chest towards the computer. So now, just like we did earlier, similarly, you're looking forward. I want you to keep your head facing forward, but let your eyes look down toward the floor. So your gaze goes sideways. So first, just your eyes look downward, but then we're going to release the head to follow. So then your head is going to follow your gaze. So you're looking down and your head is down. So reach long with that arm that's overhead. Breathe in and out. Could you lift the arm that's on your bottom leg off your bottom leg and maybe even sweep it up also overhead like you're holding a beach ball? And then from your center, bring your arms up. And then release your arms down. Nice job. Straighten that front leg, turn that foot in. We'll turn this foot all the way in and turn the left foot out. All right, so feet are really planted. You don't have your weight unevenly. They're spread out and pushing down. Hands are on your hips. Can you move from your center to bend your knee and to straighten your knee? So your weight is centered. Shoulders are right over hips. You're just moving the legs a little bit, but feel this movement initiating from your center. So then the next time the knee is bent, pause there. And from your center, tip your hips over. Your upper body just kind of follows along. That bottom arm comes to lightly rest. It's not heavy, just lightly there on the bottom leg. Your other arm out in front. Let's sweep it overhead. Thumb to the ceiling, pinky to the floor. Then roll the belly and chest towards your computer. Now your gaze is towards your computer. Can you just turn your gaze, not your head, turn your gaze to the floor? Yeah, and then let your gaze follow. Let your head follow your gaze. So your gaze and your head are gonna look down. It changes the way the muscles in the head work when we do it like this. So now we're reaching long with that arm that's overhead. Can you lift your arm that's on your leg a little bit off your leg? And maybe take that arm and sweep it overhead like you're holding a big ball over your head. And then from the center of your body, bring yourself upright. So you're not pulling up with your arms, you're lifting up from right here. Great. Release your arms, straighten that leg, turn that foot in. So let's come into this wide stance here. And we'll start with the feet facing forward, and then we're gonna hinge forward. So your knees can soften a bit. We're gonna come toward a flat back, and then we're just gonna fold all the way over. You could press onto your shins or grab your ankles or bring your hands to the floor, whatever feels good. Let your head just drop down here, releasing your neck. Take a breath into your back and let that breath empty. So now turn your right foot out and bend your right knee and walk your hands a little bit over. And you can let your hips kind of sink a little bit. So you're getting a stretch along the inner line of the straight leg. And then kind of walk back to center, turn that right foot forward, turn the left foot out, bend that left knee, and kind of sink into a side lunge here. However far down your body wants to go. So I want you to just play around with going side to side. Turn the foot out and have the knee and the toe tracking in the same direction. And maybe you get really low, maybe you don't get as low, but just kind of play around with this. Some of us might enjoy a deep inner thigh stretch. Some of us not so much maybe. Everybody's body is different. How does this movement feel for you? We don't always do this. It's a little less familiar. So we're going to go to side, maybe one more time. Just kind of playing around, exploring. You could lift a foot, you could lower the heel, you could lower the hips. And then eventually come back to center and just end up folded over. Again, hands could be wherever you like. So now bring your hands to your hips. Push down into your feet and legs. Inhale and rise halfway up to a flat back. So you ideally are feeling the support from the back of your legs here. And then push down and inhale and come the rest of the way up. Nice work. Let's bring our feet together and we're going to come up to stand. But then we're going to make our way all the way down to the floor. So come on down and let's sit the long way on the mat, and we'll have our legs forward and we'll have straight legs. So we're going to sit up tall. We can have our arms forward and you might point your toes. That might make it easier. We're going to take a breath in, and then can we roll down very gradually here? We're going to really have to use the strength of the belly. Your toes can be pointed, it might help. Just release yourself down. Once you're down, inhale and reach your arms overhead. And then could we lift the arms up, lift the head, reach forward and roll back up. If that's difficult for you, you could bend your legs and grab on for support. Inhale and reach overhead. Let's do that 2 more times. So we're going to roll down. If you need to grab your pants leg or bend your knees, feel free to do that. We're going to find the floor. Inhale the arms overhead. We'll try to come up again. Reach the arms up, lift the head, reach forward. Ideally, there's not a big oomph in the middle. Inhale, arms go up. And then this time we're just going to roll down, and we're going to stay down. We can reach the arms overhead again, take a big long stretch, fingers to toes. And then let your arms come up, but then just let them come down at your side. Bend your knees, place your feet on the floor. We're going to set up for bridge pose. So we want the heels in fairly close, the feet as wide as the hips. And before we come up into our bridge, can you feel the back of your low ribs? The back of your low ribs on the floor. Feel them drop into the floor, or maybe just assist them in pressing a little bit into the floor. So with the back of your low ribs on the floor, start to peel your sacrum and then your lower spine off the floor, but keep your low ribs down. So you've only lifted your lumbar spine here. It's a very low lift. And then roll back out. See if you can articulate that lower back, that lumbar spine on the way down until you find your sacrum on the floor. And that little neutral curve arises in your low back. Let's do that again. So low ribs are on the floor as you just curl up your sacrum and your lumbar vertebrae. So you come to where your ribs are still down. And then can you roll out that lower back? Release slowly, gradually, incrementally, until you're back into your neutral position, sacrum on the floor. All right, this time we're going to keep going. So we're going to lift the spine up till we get to the low ribs. The lumbar spine is lifted. Then we're going to continue to come up and peel the thoracic spine up till we come up onto the shoulders. So the knees and shins are moving forward as the hips lift up and the weight comes onto the shoulders. So with your hips at this height, could you keep your right leg where it is and just lift your left knee up? Put that left foot down. Could you lift your right knee up? Put the right foot down and lift your left knee up. Put your left foot down and lift your right knee up. We're going to do this a few more times. You might notice that this requires strength in the backs of the thighs and into the glute muscles here. So we're just kind of doing a very slow march, lifting a knee and putting a foot back down, lifting a knee, putting a foot back down. We'll do a few more of these. Have the feet as wide as hips when they come down. The tendency is to bring them more central, which makes it easier. Try to keep them where they normally are, hip distance apart. We'll do one more on each leg, lifting the knee, returning the foot, lifting the knee, returning the foot. Let's take the hips up nice and high with a breath. And then we'll roll ourselves down. Let the upper vertebra, the thoracic vertebra release. And then let those lumbar vertebra release until you're all the way down. Take a breath here and relax. Notice how you're feeling. And then we'll roll to the side and push ourselves up. We're going to sit with our legs. Let's sit in the middle of our mat with our hands behind. And then we're going to take our feet out wider than our hips. So we're leaned back. We have our feet wider than our hips. We're just going to roll to one side of the feet, letting the knees drop to one side. Then bring the knees back up. We're going to roll to the other side and then bring the knees back up. This time, as you roll to the side, we're going to let the knees go all the way down. Take your arm from behind off the floor and let both knees come down. You can have a tight angle on your legs or a wider angle. So you can adjust however you like. So there's one hand behind you now. Take the arm that was behind on the other side and start to sweep it around till you turn and look away from the computer. You're twisted around towards the opposite direction of the camera. Reach back and take a breath. And then release and come back towards the camera. Do that again. Take that arm, sweep it forward and back around towards away from the computer. Breathe. And then bring that arm back. Go ahead and lean back. Bring your knees up and let your knees go all the way to the other side. Let them come all the way down. The hand from behind lifts up. Take that hand from behind, sweep it around, reach it all the way back towards the wall away from the computer. And then come back around towards the computer. Let's do that again. Take that arm, sweep it all the way around till you're pointing away from the computer. Take a breath. And then bring it back around. Let's take that hand behind, bring the knees up. We're going to go back to the first side. So let the knees come all the way down. The arm from behind is going to come around, but this time we're just going to bring both hands on either side of the forward knee. Again, you could have a tight angle or a wide angle on that front leg. We're going to lower down over that front thigh, coming onto our forearms, or maybe you come down a little further. We're placing the weight over this front thigh and getting a stretch into that hip. So just breathe in and out of that hip. And let your breath empty. We can choose to be here just offering ourselves patience, kindness, loving breath. We can be enjoying each moment of this practice, fully inhabiting this experience. After your next breath has emptied out, bring your hands again on either side of that knee and push yourself up. And then let's begin to lean back and bring the knees up. And we'll go all the way around to the other side. So arm from behind comes up. Both knees find the floor. Bring your hands around. So hand on either side of that front knee and then lower over that thigh, that knee, come onto your forearms, or maybe you come a little further. So you're feeling a nice stretch in that outer hip on that front leg. And just breathe into that stretch. Breathe into the fullness of this experience. It could all be about the sensation in your body, or it could be about just the beauty of being here now, breathing, connecting with this feeling of this amazing body of ours that can move in so many ways. And maybe we're a little creakier than we used to be. Maybe we have some aches and pains, but we're still here, we're still moving. So maybe it's just breathing in gratitude for our ability to be here. After your next full release of breath, you can lift your head up, bring your hands down and lift your chest up, and then we'll lean back again. All right. And we're going to start to transition all the way down onto our backs. So we're going to come all the way down. We're going to finish up with a nice lying side twist. So we're going to bring our knees into chest. And with your knees in fairly close, drop your arms out to the side. Your arms could be out like a T, or you could have right angle cactus arms if that's more comfortable. Either way is fine. Let's take a breath in. And with the exhale, just let your knees drop all the way over to one side, as far as they'll go till that bottom leg comes down and the top leg stacks on top. And then take your gaze to the ceiling or look back at the arm behind you and breathe in and out. Notice how it feels if you let the breath fully empty out. Do that again. Take a deep breath in and then let it empty all the way out. And then bring your top knee up, bring your bottom knee up. Have your knees in close. Don't have them far away if you can. Bring them in close and then let both knees drop all the way to the other side till your bottom leg finds the floor, top leg settles on top. Reach back through that arm behind. Maybe look back at that arm and breathe in and out here. Nice full deep breaths here. Where's the breath going and how does it feel? And how does it feel if you let the breath fully empty and release? Do that again. And then we'll bring the top knee up, bring the bottom knee up, bring our feet down to the floor, and we'll make our way to our final relaxation now. So we're gonna be lying down. You might wanna put a layer on, you might wanna put a blanket over you or put a pillow under your head. You might wanna put a little support under your knees. So what would you like to offer yourself to allow you to be as comfortable as possible as we set aside these final few minutes of our practice to drop into a state of ease and relaxation? So once you've gotten warm and comfortable, you're just going to lie back. And the beauty of the yogic practice is that it's designed to activate so much of the muscular tissues of the body. We engage the muscles and we engage the mind. And now we're going to allow both of them to let go and relax. So release the weight of your body. Let go of any sense of holding on. Let go of any need to feel like you need to be any particular way. And allow yourself to drop into being however you are. Just allow your body to be as it is. No effort. No work. No need to be any particular way. Settling into a very natural, easy, relaxed state. Body relaxes. The weight of the head releases, and your facial muscles relaxing now, releasing, softening, smoothing. As the whole body relaxes, the mind can relax as well. And there's a relationship between the palm of the hand and the back of the head. So just letting your awareness come to your right palm now. And inviting your right palm to soften, to just relax heavily into the floor. The weight of the palm releasing, the inner palm relaxing. And maybe feeling that ease and relaxation not only in the palm, but that ease and relaxation traveling all the way to the back of the right side of the head, relaxing into the floor. And then bringing your awareness to your left palm, feeling a softening, a releasing, a relaxation in the palm of the left hand. The heaviness of the back of the palm on the floor. And the inner palm just softening, relaxing, releasing. And perhaps noticing that ease, that relaxation, that heaviness felt not only in the palm, but in the back of the left side of the head, releasing into the floor. Resting here. Just as you are. And then slowly, gradually, beginning to transition. You might begin to wiggle fingers or toes. Begin to open your eyes. Bring your knees bent, feet to the floor. You can start to gently roll to your side. Make your way up to sitting, finding a comfortable seat. It's been a joy and a pleasure to practice with you this morning. Thank you for being here. Have a lovely day. Peace to you all.